Hey, let's talk
Yeah.
about the Road Warriors. They're such a big part of wrestling. I mean, there's even a term that's used to this day, the Road Warrior Pop. They were over like Rover. How were they to work with, and what do you remember them being like as businessmen?
Well, Paul Ellering was their business person, and Hawk and Animal, they were just Hawk and Animal. They depended on when they were on the gas as far as their temperament. And, you know, they were fairly easy to work with, in that sometimes they, "Nah, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this." And then you have to go and slowly work through it and help them see it. It's more they have to visualize it, instead of saying, okay, you're going to take it, especially if they're going to get beat, and no team like that wants to lay on the mat for anybody, so that's why. But Ellering was the business person. These guys,
It's
man, they come in, they're so psyched up.
We got some folks watching live here with us, and Bobby says
Yeah.
that Nitro's sign behind Mister Crockett is awesome. Of all the keepsakes that you've shown us here, that's the only one that's got Eric
Oh.
Bischoff jealous. He's like, "Oh man, that's cool." And check that out. There it is. And underneath, that's one of the ring used tag team titles from back in the
That's
day of
right.
JCP, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and over here is Bunkhouse Stampede.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, Spring
Yeah,
Stampede. How about
yeah.
that?
AEW right here.
WCW. Oh, you got an
No,
AEW
this
thing down
this
there?
chair, the chair here.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. And this one is Phillips Arena, the Omni Nitro. This is from the first night it opened.
What is that? Oh, it's one of the
It's a
seats.
chair,
I got you.
one of
I
the
got you.
ringside chairs that they give away.
I got you.
Yeah, I sort of saw it and took it.
Oh, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
Man,
no,
it's fun to watch the Road Warriors and Rick Rude. They were such a big part of my childhood. I didn't really start watching until after Manny was finished wrestling on a national level. But Rick Rude and the Road Warriors, man, they just feel
no.
like video game characters, don't they?
Yes, they do, and they look like video game characters. I mean, you know, Rick Rude is cut. Oh man, is he cut? The Road Warriors, the name fits them, the costume fits them. With Manny and a lot of your wrestlers, they're bulked. Whereas Rude wanted to be cut and slimmed down, especially since he was going to leave, I guess. But no,
The
they could.
I wanted to ask you, when you're
Yes.
running a show like this, as far as the look of the ring, like you mentioned, hey, red, white, and blue, that's from the Great American Bash. Do you think the ropes were red, white, and blue like this because you knew you were going to be sending a tape of this to Japan? And it was
No,
another
no,
way to just reinforce that, hey, this is a match from America, sort of thing?
no. It was. We decided why change the ropes. It's a tape process. You got to wrap tape around it, and so we just kept it that way. And it and if we had black ropes, I guess that'd be fine. But no, that red, white, and blue fits.
By the way, this match that we're watching right now, this too was filmed for Japanese TV. So as you might imagine, you're going to see the Road Warriors pick up a win here. It's going to be by DQ, but still, because it aired in Japan, there was no way we were seeing footage of the Road Warriors losing. I asked about
No,
the I asked about the red, white, and blue ropes because I thought A, they either did this because they knew the footage would be seen in Japan, or B, They were just trying to lean into what Vince was doing because in this era, Vince was using red, white, and blue ropes on his WWF programming too.
Are we copycats? Are you insinuating that we're copycats?
Well, I'm not
I am.
insinuating
I am.
that.
I am crushed. I am crushed. And it could be. Hey, come on. Hey, if it works,
All right, yeah.
yeah. Hey, if it works,
Talk to me a little bit
I like
about.
it. Yeah, in some ways I do. In some ways I don't. It distracts. The black sort of disappears. So as far as your camera won't notice it, and you'll pay more attention to talent. It'll fade into the background. A neutral color would do that, but it definitely defines the ring. But now what happened to him? Oh, he
We
pulled
got
his.
a double down here. We're getting ready for the
Yeah.
big hot tags. Here we go.
Paul Jones. We haven't talked about Paul Jones outside the ring. This is sort of his days are numbered. He's not wrestling too much anymore there.
When you think about this era, the whole industry's changing in real life. There's a second referee making the count. Oh, here goes the DQ. Paul Jones interferes. There's the DQ. That's going to be the finish. We got like a minute left in the broadcast, but the Road Warriors have won the match. Uh, this is an era where we would see Watts change the name of his territory, being known as Mid South, to now it's going to be known as the UWF, the Universal Wrestling Federation. The idea being, hey, the universe is bigger than the world. Everybody trying to compete with Vince. We want to sound bigger. What did you think of Watts changing the name of the territory from Mid South to the UWF?
I thought it was a mistake. The name, Mid South, has history to it. So like Texas wrestling. Why change the name, to something else and try pushing it? He was grabbing at straws to, make the fans think it's so much bigger. But they knew it as Mid South. So I don't remember the process of the logic and how he changed it to Universal. But to me, it's always been Mid South, and I bet the fans out there it's still Mid South.
We always still say Mid South.
Yeah.
Gavin wants to know, when did the shift away from licensed music become necessary? Road Warriors had Iron Man, Rude and Manny had We Will Rock You, and I remember the Steiners had Guns N' Roses in the early 90s. I know that the business changes and best practices change, but when do you remember there being a line in the sand, no more unlicensed music?
ASCAP, BMI, having to pay the rights for the music. We realized we need to go to create our own or buy a needle drop. They spanked our hands. And, so, if a talent, wanted to use certain music, we said, you can't unless you want to pay the rights fee. Yeah. So then that's when we started, going on and creating our own music, as far as the needle drop.
Is that in the WCW era?
Yes, after Turner, when we eventually went to Turner. I mean, before Turner bought us. Definitely before that. But it was hard for us. I remember trying to find needle drop, and then also who was it? Buddy Lee in Nashville. He was a band booker. Talking to him as far as getting needle drop music or music written for us and the cost. uh, of that. And we had so many wrestlers then, and they all wanted music, so it became extremely hard.